Thousands of migrants are currently walking through Mexico in an effort to reach the U.S. border. About 6,000 migrants from Central America, Cuba, and other countries left southern Mexico. It's the largest caravan in more than a year. Migrants are headed to the U.S. ahead of Secretary of State Antony Blinken's visit to Mexico City.
President Biden last night claiming the Border Patrol endorsed him. Former National Border Patrol President Brandon Judd joins us now. Is that true, Brandon? Welcome.
No, that's actually laughable. There's no way in the world we possibly could have endorsed President Biden. You know, again, we're not partisans. We will try to do the best that we can for the citizens of the United States. That's what the National Border Patrol Council has always done. Best for our agents, best for the citizens of the United States. We would never even consider endorsing President Biden because he unleashed complete and total chaos on this country. We have seen more crime in this country from illegal immigrants than we ever have before. We have seen more people crossing our borders illegally that are on the terrorist watch list than we ever have before. This is absolutely it's a catastrophe, it's chaos, and it's hurting the American people. We would have never endorsed him. In fact, the National Border Patrol Council, when I was there, and I believe that I can still say this, fully supports President Donald Trump.
What's going on, guys? We got to talk about this scumbag who tried to pretend as though Kamala Harris was taking care of the border. So this guy sat up here, got on stage at the DNC convention, and literally said that Donald Trump is not doing anything when he's trying to support the border. You know, the guy who literally built like well over 100 miles of border wall. And then you got Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, who literally stopped funding the wall and allowed millions of people, including terrorists and rapists and human traffickers and God knows who else, to come into the country. And this fool, loser, got called out immediately on the X platform. Literally within minutes of him making this false, fraudulent claim, he got exposed immediately by people that actually worked at the border. This guy's a sheriff. He didn't work directly on the border. There was people who did work on the border, such as who you saw at the beginning here, Brandon Judd, whose direct statements contradict exactly what this fool had to say.
When Donald Trump comes down to Texas, stands next to officers in uniforms just like mine, he's not there to help us. Don't think that, not for a second. He is a self-serving man. I mean, look, just like when he killed the border bill, he just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail. Now, down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out.
Flashback.
Sheriff Javier Salazar. Sheriff, it's a pleasure to see you, sir. Tell us about what you are asking for. What are your needs?
Well, right now, thank you for having me, first off. Right now, what I'm asking for is for the president or a member of his administration that can make decisions to come down and talk to not just me, but at least 12 other Texas sheriffs from major counties in the state of Texas that are dealing with this issue firsthand. So I'd like to see somebody from Washington come down here, get boots on the ground, get eyes on the issue at hand, and then talk to us, a bipartisan group of Texas sheriffs that are really taking a common sense approach because we have to on this.
Raul Ortiz served as chief of the U.S. Border Patrol under President Biden and deputy chief under President Trump.
I've never had one conversation with the president or the vice president for that matter. And so I was the chief of the Border Patrol. I commanded 21,000 people.
And if that wasn't enough, I got another guy who said the exact same thing. Literally, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris don't even talk to these people.
Have you ever met Kamala Harris?
No, we've never had any contact with her.
Has anybody that you work with ever had meetings with her?
None of us. She made her one trip to the border in El Paso a few years ago. I'm sure she met with some agents there, but none of us in our organization, never.
What do you think about the administration saying, well, now the Harris campaign, now saying that it's the Republicans' fault that you had so many illegal aliens come into this country over the last 3.5 years?
It doesn't make any sense. If the White House had literally just done nothing when Joe Biden's administration began, left in place the Trump policies, we wouldn't be sitting here. But instead, like you said, they ended a bunch of policies, some executive orders, and then they basically opened the door for the world to show up at the southwest border to enter illegally and to abuse the asylum system.
Yet another day of these lying, fraudulent leftists getting exposed. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Be sure to share this video out. I appreciate y'all watching a Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
If she's the worst vice president ever. He's the worst president ever. A deadly combination. And we have a country where the borders are bad. Why don't you do it? You know, she complains about everything. She's been there for 3.5 years. Why don't you do it? All you have to do is say, why don't you do it?